Comets and your Trojans. We're going to announce today's starting lineups. First, the visiting Mason Comets. At right defense, number 7, Keo Collin. At left defense, number 9, Brendan Canham. At center, number 8, Aiden Albert. At right wing, number 6, Eli Vitor. At left wing, number 3, Nikki Doss. And in goal, number 35, Grayson Atkins. And now the starting lineup for your Troy Trojans. At right defense, number 11, Colin Burkhart. At left defense, number 20, Brady Campbell. At center, number 9, Gavin Burris. At right wing, number 15, Cameron Lombardo. And at left wing, number 23, Eli Wenning. Starting in goal, number 1, Noah Carver. And the rest of your Troy Trojans.
And welcome live inside the historic Hobart Arena in downtown Troy as the Ohio High School Athletic Association proudly presents Division I Varsity Ice Hockey as the Troy Trojans host the Mason Comets in the third game of a 3-game weekend invitational tournament as part of the Miami Valley Freeze. Glad to have everybody along for the ride on this one. It's been a great weekend of hockey from Hobart Arena, and the Trojans are trying to make the trifecta today with a matinee against league rival Mason Comets. The Trojans picked up a a big win to start the tournament yesterday afternoon during the afternoon matinee, a 4-2 win against Oregon Clay High School from Toledo. That a hard-nosed, hard-fought hockey game. And then just a few hours later in primetime, the Trojans were able to squeak out a win against the Elder Panthers from Cincinnati Elder High School to make it a perfect 2-win day. Of course, the big story last night was freshman rookie netminder Brayson Stanton picking up his first win in his first varsity start. And oh, by the way, it was a shutout. We'll hear from him during the intermission. But first, the Trojans have some work to do. They are currently in first place in this Miami Valley Freeze tournament. And with a win today against Mason, they will secure first place in the Miami Valley Freeze for the first time in franchise history. As we're underway, the Trojans are going to wear their home white uniforms with the scarlet and gray trim. As that one right in front, digging for it on starting netminder Grayson Adkins for the Mason Comets. As a quick rush to start this hockey game for the Trojans. And right away, we're going to do that one again. Your referees assigned by the Western Ohio Hockey Referees Association, Mr. Bill Peck and Ernie DiMuccio. Always an excellent officiating crew. We've had excellent officiating all weekend long. And we'd like to thank all of the local high school officials that have made this tournament a success as the shot right on. Adkins turned it aside. And it skirts out to center ice as here come the Comets back the other way. Natorp will send it back into the far corner. Played ahead. Mickey Daz had a handful of goals against the Trojans the last time these two clubs met. As that one's going to go down for an icing call. And stay inside the Trojan zone on the glove side of junior starting netminder Noah Carver. And out to take the faceoff, Ian Francis Knott. He's going to go against Eli Natorp, one of the two Natorp brothers on this Mason Hockey Club. As there's a shot right on, Carver got a glimpse of it with his pad. As Andrew Conti for the Trojans. Long stretch pass out to neutral ice and into Smith. Drop pass in for Carson Smith, as the Comets are able to clear that one inside the Trojans' end. Loose puck. Good dive there by Conti as it's held onto on the point. Battling for it along the wall. That one finally clears out to center. Smith is there, and it looks like we're going to get a delayed penalty from way behind the play as the referee DiMuccio calling it from the Trojans' end. Not sure what we're going to get here. 13:29 to go. Indeed, it's a slashing penalty, and it will go against Mason as Owen Natorp in the box, a 2-minute minor for slashing, and that'll give the Trojans the first power play of this hockey game. Presented by Clopay, America's favorite garage door. As that goes back to Burkhart inside his own zone. Stretch pass, tipped in by Gavin Burris. Plays it into the corner. Around the Dashers, now for Smith, who plays it on the wall in the far corner. Sets up back at the point. Here's Sexton playing back on D. Give and go through traffic, a shot, and that one made it all the way back to Adkins, who turned it aside back into the far corner. Played on the far wall. Daz sends it up the wall, right back for Sexton at the point. With time, still with the man advantage, give and go, nearly swatted away, but Burghart's able to control, and he'll toss it back into the far corner. 1:10 to go. Centering pass through screen. There's an impossible angle. Shot hit off of Adkins. Right back to the point for Sexton. Near wing. Drops it back now for Burghart. Top of the circle. Bouncing puck up and out of play. And that one's Gonna hop over the protective mesh to stop the clock with 12 minutes and 25 seconds to go. And we're glad to have everybody along for the ride. Be sure to like us at Troy, Ohio TV for more information and future games right here all season long. As that one held on to at the point. Right back for Sexton, a drive, high, off the end glass. The rebound collects into the paraphernalia of Gavin Burris, who gets hauled down but no call. Still tripped up, but with the puck. Battling down low into the corner. Takes the hit, gets it ahead for Sexton, hands it right back off. Here's a one-time shot, Atkins the save. And he saw it the entire way, but Gavin Burris setting up in the far corner in the Ovechkin office, tried to pull the trigger on a one-timer. And the goaltender was able to slide across the crease in time to make that save. And so right off the draw, the Trojans will win this one back. Top of the circle, now for Gavin Burris on this low cycle into the corner. Centering pass, through traffic, shoots and scores! Colin Berghardt picked up the rebound and makes this a 1-0 hockey game early. On the 6th shot of the game, Colin Berghardt was able to bury the rebound that kicked out really far into the slot. And that's what they say, kids watching at home, keep your stick on the ice. Good things will happen. As that one forces back down, Nate Torp will play it out from behind his own net, but he gets stick checked off. Berghardt getting announced as the goal scorer. Brady Smith will get credit for the assist as Campbell will play it out of his own zone. Back on the far wing, one-touch pass ahead. Now for Ian Francis. The shot turned aside. Now for Smith, who plays it in the near corner. Holds onto it. Centering pass for Big Brother. Couldn't get it in time. That one's going to meander its way back to the point. Little help there from Condi. Gets that wide of the net. As Brady Smith will play it off the backhand and around behind the net. Still controlling the puck. Back on the half boards. And around, the Trojans finishing their line changes. Campbell, a shot, right on, low on the ice. The rebound kicks up back into the corner for Ian Francis Knott, who can't control, and now out come the Comets back the other way. Just inside the Trojans' end, offsides is waved off as the Comets will tag up and finish their line change. Played back by Eli Wenning. Back from behind the net is Condi. Getting hit off the puck, but he's able to get that ahead for Smith on the right wing. Takes the hit and sends it 180 feet the other way. Icing is waved off as the Trojans will finish wholesale changes. That one back down low into the corner. Up the wall and held on by Sexton at the point. This bouncing puck picked up by Nate Torp, and he's able to get that just free as Barnes is able to chip that one right back inside the Comets' end. Gabby Paff giving chase right back for Harris, a drive, and that one's going to be gloved down by Atkins. And a good effort there, Gabby Paff getting that one ahead for Luke Harris. And so with 9 minutes and 49 seconds to go here in this opening period, still 1-0 Trojans in the lead. Face-off will be won immediately by the Trojans as Burris is shot right on, low on the ice through traffic. Adkins was already down in the crouch and was able to make the save. And so we'll do this again in the same location inside Mason territory. And right off the draw to Sexton at the point. Low shot, turned aside, pad save made by Adkins. From behind. That pass to no one. Finally back out to neutral ice as the Comets will pick it up and somehow lose it back inside their own zone. Stretch pass out in front, kicked in and turned aside by the netminder. Not sure that would have counted anyway, but it sure was pretty as the Comets get that one out to neutral ice. Just inside the Trojans' line. That plays onside as Sexton will work it back inside his own zone, and set up on the breakout out of his own end. Here's Gavin Burris. Out to center ice and across the Mason line. He'll get it deep into the corner and put on the brakes. Posting up a shot, and that one stopped by Grayson Adkins, who made the save to stop the clock now with 8 minutes and 52 seconds. And what the Trojans have been controlling the tempo of this hockey game so far, as we've seen most of the weekend. Again, this is the third and final game of the Miami Valley Freeze Invitational, a 4-game round-robin tournament here hosted by the Trojans, and they are currently in first place. Is icing signaled and icing the call. And the Trojans hoping to keep the hardware home and add to the already impressive trophy case at Troy High School, which is where this trophy will reside if the Trojans do in fact win it. There is quite a lot of hockey paraphernalia at Troy High School in the Hall of Fame case as you walk into the Commons by the new gymnasium. Couple sticks, a puck scored by the very first goal in team history back in 1996 by Carl Mick, as well as a jersey worn by Captain A.J. Knoll when he set the scoring record just a few years ago. And the Trojans hoping to add to that. Of course, the men's basketball program having the big win against Sydney on Friday night. And so the Trojan family having a very good weekend thus far. Also, shout out to the swimming team for having a good showing at their meet this weekend. As the shot turned aside by Carver, played out from behind the net, sends it up the wing. Picked back up by Francis Knott. It's a 2-on-1 the other way. A drive, and Adkins the save. Rebound, he scores! And we listen to Tribute to Troy as the second rebound goes in. We'll go downstairs for the official word on the goal, but it will stand a 2-0 hockey game now in favor of the Trojans, as it's always a good time to hear Tribute to Troy. A new goal song debuted this season for the Trojans, the unofficial theme song of Trojan Athletics. A fitting tribute, as this one set up in front. There's Smith trying to get the puck out to the middle, picked up by Francis Knott. And Francis Knott getting credit for the goal, with Burkhart picking up a helper on it, as the Comets will get that one inside the Trojans' end. Back out. With the head of steam is Sexton. He'll work it across the Comet line. All by himself, down low into the corner. He'll post up from behind the net. Passes it to himself. Backhander swatted away in front. And the Comets' defense keeping the Trojans at bay as they'll work it back inside their own zone and complete their line change. One-touch pass up the wing for Barnes. He'll hold on to it. Dumps it deep inside the Comets' end and behind Adkins' net. As Barnes will go back to play it into the corner. Centering pass knocked away by Natorp. Dawes is there to help out as the bouncing puck from Conti works its way back into the far corner. Big hit into the corner is Luke Harris. That backhander picked up by the Comets. As Dawes trying to get a piece of it, couldn't get much on it, and Natorp forced to wrap it around the boards. Back to Dawes on the half boards on this breakout attempt. Out to neutral ice. Comets will tag up and continue pressuring inside the Trojans, and a shot! Dawes! Right into the paraphernalia of Noah Carver. And certainly a burst of energy right there on the shot. It looked like it got Carver up high, bobbled a little bit off his protective face mask, but he was able to recoup and make the save with 5:51 to go in this opening period. 2-0 Trojans in the lead, as that one's going to bounce into the penalty box where there is no glass. Almost getting a piece of off-ice official Braden Ganger, excuse me, as we certainly appreciate all of the off-ice officials that have made this tournament a success. Braden and his father, big part of this hockey program, as we got a broken stick on the ice that caused a minor delay, but the faceoff is going to stay inside the Trojans' end. One quickly back into the corner, as Lombardo lays it back now for Berghart and around the Dashers. That's going to make it all the way down inside the Mason end, with Eli Wenning giving chase on this forecheck. Back ahead out to center for Berghart. Sends it rink wide. Tries to get it ahead. Wenning was nearly there. The puck was stripped away, as that's going to be fired in by the cannon, Jack Crawford, just inside the Mason zone. Picked up by Lombardo. Low shot, bouncing puck in front. That one had some eyeballs. As though working out from behind the net, there's Wenning. Tangling up down low with Keogh. Shot back to the point. There's a low drive, rebound, save made by Adkins. Pad save, and that one's going to work it back to the point as the Comets now bring it up ice. Inside the Trojans, and a drive. That one stopped by Carver. Bouncing puck high up into the air across the crease. And a flurry of activity, oh my goodness. As now here comes Berghart the other way. Out from behind the net, both teams will finish their much-needed line change. On this breakout attempt, the Comets are forced to ice it, but it's played by Carver. He's going to hold on to it and finally get a whistle, as the official figured he was going to freeze it. And so with 4 minutes and 13 seconds, we can all take a collective breather after that one. End-to-end action with quality shots on both sides and some excellent saves. First by Grayson Adkins, and 180 feet the other way, then by Noah Carver. Played by the Trojans out from behind the net. That one's picked up and knocked away by Sexton as that clears out to open ice. Forced back in, icing signaled and icing called against the Comets. And that'll bring the faceoff back inside Mason territory with 3 minutes and 52 seconds to go. Here in this first period, a 2-0 hockey game if you're just joining us. As that shot off the side of the iron, played back around and cleared by the Comets out to center ice. Scooped up by Sexton. He'll post up from behind his own net to break this one out. Sends it ahead. A bit too rich for him, as they're going to wave off the icing, though. Bit of a gift for the Trojans as they'll play it up the wall. Back for Harris. Sets up Sexton, top of the circle. Low cycle now into the corner. Harris centering feed. That shot turned aside by Adkins. Rebound. Back to Schumann at the point. Bouncing puck. Here's Gabby Paff, a drive! As jumping out on top of it was Grayson Adkins, robbing Gabby Paff of a really quality scoring opportunity down low. And you saw he jumped on it almost like it was a live grenade. He saw that Paff was breaking down right through the slot. Keeps this a 2-0 Trojans lead. 3 minutes now to go here in the first period. A spirited hockey team in this Mason Comets program. Certainly with the amount of hockey both teams have played, you know those legs are being put to the test. as the Trojans work that one in too wide at the line. Atkins will save. Rebound out from behind the net. He had Wenning on his wing, who tangles deep into the far corner. Still battling for the loose puck. Picked up by the captain, Lombardo. He'll work it up the wing. Top of the circle on the half boards. For Sexton, who wraps it right back down. Playing up is Schumann on the half boards. Still on the far wing. That one hauled down by her. No call. Play continues. Picked up by Pitcher. He's able to clear it for the Comets and get a change, as Carver will play it out from behind his own net now for under 2 minutes to go here in this opening period. Breakout attempt for the Trojans. Stymied, but works. They'll get it just across the Comets line. Trojans finish their line change as Keogh, out of his own zone, works it ahead out through center ice. Deep inside Trojan territory. The Trojans will post back up out of the net. And right back to Sexton into the corner. Takes a funny bounce from behind the net. And Burghart's forced to play it. Gives it away, though, as Marietta almost had himself a shot, but the Trojans able to force that one in. Adkins played that one just the tip of his stick as the rebound kicks back to the near point. Sexton battles down low. Back for Carson Smith. Turns it over for Ian Francis. Not one goal already today as he gets hooked off the puck. The Trojans forced to push that one right back inside the Mason end and get a change. Under a minute now to go here in the opening period as the Comets race out to center ice. Across the Trojans line, they'll pump that one deep from behind Carver's end. It's Campbell gets it ahead for Smith. Out to center ice, but gives it back away as Marietta sends it deep inside the Trojans' end. Doss is back to check it down low. Into the corner. Here's Nicky Doss looking for a centering pass. Fans on the first attempt, still with it. Walks in himself, a backhander right into the chest of Noah Carver. And a good effort there by the Mason captain, Nicky Doss, to get a quality shot in on Noah Carver. But just as what we saw a couple minutes ago, Adkins robbing Paff, very similar circumstance right there. And so with 25 seconds to go here in the opening period, Doss will win the draw and get hooked down. And now we've got a penalty coming up. And that's going to go against the Trojans as Andrew Condi is going to get the gate. A tripping penalty, according to referee Ernie DiMuccio. And so the Comets will get their first power play of the hockey game. This penalty kill brought to you by Skyline of Troy. It's Skyline time. And just like that, the Trojans are able to clear it all the way down. 10 seconds and counting here in the opening period. As a long stretch pass out to neutral ice. Gets that one just inside the Trojans' end. Racing for it is Keogh. There's a shot just as the horn blows. Players come together there to knock the net off the post, and that was just not to be. As the first period comes to a conclusion. A very good first period of hockey here as the Trojans holding on to a 2-0 lead after 15 minutes. We will step aside. When we come back, we'll have second period action. Don't go away. And we welcome you back live inside the historic Hobart Arena. JT Zabo rejoining you as we get set for period number 2 as we're underway. The Trojans holding on to a 2-0 lead after that first period against the Comets. As they're stymied down low, Dawes with the stick check. Back behind Carver. Big plays, they'll work it up the wing. Comets have the power play for another minute 19 off the tail end of Andrew Condi's tripping penalty from the tail end of the first period. As the Comets working it ahead, here's Keogh. Back across the line, Trojans will carry it inside their own zone, send it rink wide for Campbell, but he loses the puck as that one's picked up by Albers. But cleared the length of the ice by the Trojans as that one's going to be scooped up by Carnham. Posts up behind the net and wraps it around the Dashers. 50 seconds to go on the penalty kill for the Trojans presented by Skyline. As Natorp sends it ahead in his own zone. Drops it back for Albers. Played it ahead as Daz will pick it up and wrap it around the boards. Out from behind the net. Scooped up by Sexton, but Dawes is there. Posts up on the half boards. Low cycle for the Comets. Centering pass is finally cleared away by Sexton, and he will ice it 180 feet the other way free of charge. Racing for it is Smith. He'll get to the loose puck first. Battling down low into the corner. Brady Smith with a good head of steam with the puck. Tries a centering feed. That makes it to the point for Sexton. On the left side, he'll throw it around the corner as Ian Francis Knott will scoop it up. Takes the hit and gets knocked off as Natorp picks it up for the Comets and works it up the wing now for Dawes. Back to even strength hockey is Condi back out on the ice as the Comets will move this one ahead up inside Trojan territory and around the Dashers. 13:07 to go here in the middle period as they'll battle for it behind the net. Physical battle in from behind the net as Condi picks up the loose puck himself, walks in before he gets stick checked in a good spin move, but it's enough to draw a penalty. And now the Trojans will go back on the power play with 12:53 to go. As a hooking call against pitcher will bring the faceoff back inside the Mason zone. And this power play presented by the National Salt Distributors out of Bell Fountain, Ohio. The official salt distributor of Troy Trojans hockey. Is right off the draw. This played in a one-timer intended for Lombardo. Didn't have much on it, and now here come the Comets shorthanded across the Trojan line. Bouncing puck down low. Carver forced to make the save. Is down low to pick it up on this breakout attempt. Trojans on the power play as that one's going to be tipped off a stick free of charge down low. Adkins off the side of his cage nearly got startled on that one as the Trojans power play struggling to get going, putting it quite mildly as the Comets are able to ice the puck free of charge. Down low to play it out of his own zone. Now ahead. Here's Sexton. Turns over the puck again as Herr is able to dump it deep. Again played by Carver from behind his own zone. On this breakout attempt, Trojans hemmed inside their own zone on the power play as they finally get it deep inside the Comet zone. Tipped away, Smith picks it up in the near corner, drops it back to the point, but Sexton can't control at the point, and so that one forced back out to neutral ice where he dangles at the line. Picked up by Berghardt at the tail end of their shift. He'll just dump it in and get a change. Or it's picked up by Albers for the Comets and works its way back out to center ice. Stretch pass, bobbling it ahead. Now for Schumann as he crosses the red stripe and dumps it in. 15 seconds to go on the Trojans' power play that has yet to produce a shot. And again, Sexton at the line, holding it in. He'll carry it himself back into the far corner. Gives it ahead for Burris. Burris bobbling the puck as we return to even strength hockey. Walks in, low shot, loose puck on the slot! Save made by Adkins. The rebound finally covered up. An excellent goaltending by Grayson Adkins robs the Trojans at the end there of the power play. The only shot came after the penalty had expired, as the Trojans really struggled on the power play there with 10:42 to go. As the draw picked up by Campbell, a one-timer by Harris deflected away. Second shot wide of the crease. And so the Comets trying to settle it back down out of their own zone as Dawes sends it around. Gotti comes in, posts it ahead, back for Gabby Paff. Will Barnes tried to control that one away as well. But icing signaled, played by Carver, and he is wisely going to hold on to it. To stop the clock now with 10:13 to go here in the second period. As both teams are going to get fresh legs. And the faceoff is going to stay inside the Trojans' end. As the Trojans splitting goaltending duties this weekend, as freshman netminder Brayson Stanton picked up his first varsity start, his first varsity win, and his first career shutout yesterday against Elder. And Carver back between the pipes tonight, as there's a big hit rubbed off the puck down low into the corner. It's Crawford. One of those cannonading blasts, works it free but not out. Bouncing puck cleared away by Berghardt in front, right back to Crawford, who plays it out from behind the net. Wrapped around and up the wing for Eli Wenning, who gets knocked off the puck. And a big hit right there as here's the centering pass. Lombardo scores! And there may be a penalty on the play. We're going to see what the officials converse. You see them down at the penalty box. There was a penalty signaled on the play for that hit on Gavin Burris at the blue line. And so we'll exactly see what happened. .921. They just put up the third goal up on the big board. And indeed, the goal will count. And I believe whatever penalty they may have called may have been negated by the goal. And so we'll play 5-on-5. Trojans now leading 3-0 over the Mason Comets. As Cameron Lombardo getting the goal announced. Burris getting a helper on the goal. As they'll tangle up in front of the crease and finally knocked away by the Comets. Racing for it down the other side was Marietta. He'll get to the puck first and wave off the icing. Picked up by Carson Smith, turned it aside, rebound off the deflection, post back into the far corner. Up the wing, held on by Roadway. As they'll work it on the far side of the ice, held on at the point. Carver wisely coming in to play it. He will hold on to the puck. And that stops the clock now with 8 minutes and 27 seconds to go. And the faceoff will stay inside the Trojans' end. 8:27 to go. 3-0 Trojans in the lead. And right off the draw, this one controlled by the Comets. Post stop, Dawes gets hauled down, delayed penalty coming. It will go against Troy. As the referee signaling a hooking penalty on Brady Campbell. as he gets the gate. A hooking penalty will put the Comets back on the power play. And the faceoff remains inside the Trojans' end, as this penalty kill is brought to you by Irwin, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Troy. I'd like to thank Ron and Matt for being such great supporters of varsity hockey here in Troy, as that one's going to be cleared all the way down. That's going to be picked up by Keogh out from behind his own net. Under pressure and around now for Nicky Dawes. Tangling up out through center ice. Dawes with the loose puck under pressure. Now just gets it just inside the Trojans' end as the bouncing puck again back inside the Comets' end. In front of the benches. Trojans are offsides, but play continues as Lombardo realized that Burris was still inside the zone. As now Keogh losing the puck at the line again to the Trojans. They'll force it deep inside the Mason corner and get a change as Nicky Dawes will bring it out from behind the Comets' end. Backhand breakout. Picked up by the Trojans. They'll fling it right back, and now we're playing Tetris. Posting up out from behind the net. Sexton's there. And the Trojans penalty kill unit again icing it all the way down free of charge. We're under 7 minutes now to go as we have crossed the midway part of this hockey game. 32 seconds and counting remaining on that penalty to the Trojans. And this penalty kill presented by Irwin as they'll work it down low out from around the corner. Tangling up the wall. Held on by Keogh as he takes a tumble, and it's picked up by Brady Smith for the Trojans. Short-handed, too wide across the line. Tried to pick the corner, and that one shot just wide. Rebound held on at the line. Back for Smith into the corner. Sends it rink wide. Campbell returns to the ice, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. 6:11 to go here in the middle stanza as the Comets working it out of their own zone. Ahead to center. Scooped up this time by Berghardt. He'll send it rink wide. Looked like Francis Knott may have tipped it with his stick, but they say he did not. And so just like that, it's going to be an icing call to bring the faceoff back inside the the Troy zone with 5 minutes and 53 seconds to go. In this middle period from the historic Hobart Arena. Glad to have everybody along for the ride here all weekend long on Troy, Ohio TV, as we bring you live coverage of the Miami Valley Freeze Invitational. Trojans currently in first place and can secure the hardware with a win today against Mason. This is the final game of the tournament as the Comets turned it aside, poked away by Carver. He's got a Comet in front of him, a Comet on top of him, and somehow was still able to make the save as the Trojans now inside the zone, and a shot from Burris hit off a stick off the end glass. Rebound back for Wenning. Gibson goes away as this one picked up by the Comets and out to center as Conti is there. Right back in by Lombardo. They'll force it deep inside the Comet zone, and racing forward is Eli Wenning. On this low cycle centering pass off a skate in front, it's going to be scooped up by Roadway, and he's going to carry it ahead across the red stripe and dumps it deep inside the Troy zone as Conti plays it around. 4 minutes and 54 seconds to go as the Trojans controlling it with Conti at the line. Loses it in his feet as Brian for the Comets will force that one deep. And the Mason Comets will get a wholesale change. Trojans on this breakout attempt. Working it ahead out to center ice, taking his time as Sexton. As he'll force that one deep and chase. Here's Ian Francis Knott around the dashers with Smith. Couldn't control. As Albers takes a hook but holds on. Shot, rebound in front, he scores! Albers picked up the rebound on the short side. Carver lost his stick in the process. And the backhand as Albers was able to knock it in. Carver couldn't get back in time. A delayed penalty was signaled for hooking Albers during that play. That should be waved off with the goal. And just like that, we've got ourselves a bit of a hockey game now with 4:15 to go here in the middle period. It's a 3-1 Trojans lead. We'll go downstairs for the official word. Eli Natorp is going to get credit for the goal, but it sure looked like it was Nicky Dawes that posted that one in. I'm not sure if that one's going to stand or not. But Natorp getting credit for the goal. Here come the Trojans. Big head of steam and a collision back into the corner as the centering pass. Nobody was home into the corner to play it as Brady Smith works it back out from the far wing. In with a little help is Francis Knott. Still trying to check it free. And does as it squirts out. Scooped up by the Comets on this breakout attempt now. As they'll work it across the line. Drops it back. Top of the circle. Centering pass. And the backhander right into the goaltender's mitt. And some pushing and shoving after the whistle. Fans not happy with what they saw there, as the backhander was easily gloved down by Noah Carver. And the faceoff is going to stay inside the Trojan zone. Close call there for the Trojans. Now with a 2-goal lead with 3:16 to go. And right off the faceoff, this controlled by Berghart up the wall. Now for Lombardo. One pass and ahead as Burris lost it in his feet. And that's finally going to be tipped up by the Trojans and racing forward is Crawford. Taking his time, getting it up the wall now for Wenning. Stretches it across and over the line. Lombardo tangles up on the half-boards on the left wing side. Picked up by the Comets. Out they come inside the Trojans' end. Stripped away on a stick check by Berghart, looking for a stretch pass out to neutral ice. As that one carries over the line, just as Burris was tripped from behind, no call. And they'll continue as Keogh stripped away from the puck by Burris. Here's Gavin Burris, top of the circle, throws it back to the point now for Berghart. A shot. Right back to Burris, half boards. High cycle, fanned on the first clearing attempt. Right back for Lombardo. In the corner, tried to pick the corner. And Adkins had it the whole way. And was able to make the save. And so with 2 minutes exactly to go here in this middle period of a 3-1 hockey game. Face-off inside the Mason zone, won by the Trojans but stripped away. As Crimmins able to get that one ahead. Conti posts up out of the trapezoid and around as a big bounce knocked away, picked back up by the Comets. As in to help out, that time was Carnum. Walking in a shot, turned away, rebound. Now for Brady Smith. Carries it out to center and across all by himself. Brady Smith shoots and scores! And that puts the lead right back where it was. As Brady Smith, a breakaway goal, makes it 4-1. And so we'll have to see if any assists come from that goal or if indeed it was unassisted. As we'll go downstairs for the official word with the face-off at center ice. 1:25 to go here in the period. Cooper Sexton's going to get credit for the assist on the goal, as that one's going to be signaled down for an icing call as the faceoff comes back inside the Comets' end. A 4-1 lead now for the Trojans. 1:11 to go in the middle period. The Trojans still pressuring the Comets. And actually, we've seen most of the offense come either shorthanded or even strength. As the drive, that one hit the crossbar. The floating shot. Adkins missed it completely as it goes right back to the point. Bouncing puck. They're going to say it bounced up and out of play. And we'll get a whistle and a stoppage as the referee lost sight of the puck. And the faceoff's going to stay inside the zone for the dead puck whistle with 53 seconds to go. And a lucky break there for the Comets. As right from the draw, this one picked up by Gavin Burris out of the corner. Sends it back to Conti at the point. Low shot, scores! Andrew Conti! Put it on the ice, and sometimes the hockey gods will smile upon thee. 41.8 seconds to go. Now a 5-1 hockey game thanks to defenseman Andrew Conti. Burris will get credit, as well as Lombardo for assists as that shot right in on Carver. He's able to stop it to stop the clock now with 23.6 seconds to go. And what is now a 5-1 hockey game. And so the face-off is going to be a little bit delayed as they eject one of the Comets from the draw. And that one won right around. Picked up by Lombardo. He's able to get that one deep inside the Comet zone, or is he? As they say it was icing, and you hear the groans of the crowd as the icing brings the faceoff all the way back inside the Trojan zone. And almost a collective groan emanating from sections 31 and 29, especially the student section, as there's a shot tipped in. Natrop scored. The shot was tipped off the shot. It looked like it was pitcher that scored. As he just had his stick on the ice, the initial shot was from the point. It was tipped in by Jeffrey Pitcher, number 22 on your screen. And they're not out of this yet, folks. This game is far from over. 6.7 seconds to go in the second period. Pitcher's getting credit for the goal off of that shot from Nator. And some words being said in front of the benches at the tail end of the period. And just like that, 2 periods of hockey in the books as the Trojans will skate into the dressing room ahead with a big 5-2 lead after 30 minutes of hockey. Of course, this has been a lot of hockey this weekend as the Trojans en route to their 3rd game in 2 days, and actually about 24 hours. So lots of hockey. The boys and girl are definitely going to be getting lots of Gatorade in between periods and some fruit, and we are going to step aside. And when we come back, We'll go downstairs for today's player features and get some insight from some of the Trojans as you continue to watch Troy Trojans varsity hockey live right here on Troy, Ohio TV. As we welcome you back inside the historic Hobart Arena in downtown Troy, the team's just onto the ice surface getting ready for period number 3 between the Troy Trojans and the Mason Comets in the final period of the 2022 Miami Valley Freeze Tournament, hosted by Troy High School and the Troy Trojans varsity hockey program, as the Trojans holding on to that tough 5-2 lead over the Comets on the fresh ice surface as we get set to go. Gavin Burris will open the faceoff with a win, forcing it back inside the Comets' end. Again, the Trojans in their home white uniforms with the scarlet and gray piping and the red pants, white helmets, new this season, replacing the black pants and black helmets of years past. As they'll work this one up the wall, icing is signaled, waved off as it's played, back by Carver, out from behind his own net. Posting up, it's Berghart, he'll wrap it around the Dashers. On this outlet pass to center ice, delayed penalty coming against Mason, but here's Lombardo all by himself, as leaving the net for the extra attacker was Carver. Dishes it right back. Shot low on the ice. Picked up by Lombardo. Still under a delayed penalty. Whacked at it. It's out a second attempt. And that'll stop the clock now with 14:03 to go in regulation and assess the penalty, as it will go against the Comets. A 2-minute minor for tripping goes to Max Kennedy. And that gives the Trojans another power play, which so far tonight has not been the good luck charm head coach Rick Szabo has hoped for. And so this power play brought to you by Comprehensive Dentistry of Troy. Tripping the call on Kennedy, as this one works its way back out from the corner on this high cycle. The puck is going to make it all the way down inside the Trojans' end as Sexton sends it rink wide. Bobbling the puck with Smith, nearly turned it back over. Has to send it across to the near end as Berghart scoops it up and sends it out on an outlet pass to Sexton across the red stripe and in, as he'll pump it deep inside the Comets' corner. Minute 26 and counting on the Trojans' power play, their second of the game, as Berghart wraps it back around. Picked up by Brady Smith, again for Gavin Burris. The senior goes back to the point. Now for Sexton, tried a one-timer with Smith, a drive off the side of the cage. Nearly popped the water bottle free as play continues now for Gavin Burris on this power play. Trojans, again, struggling to generate a little bit of intensity here as the Comets are able to ice this one 180 feet the other way and get a change. 12:52 and counting as the Trojans will come out of their own zone here. Sexton. 3 wide at the Comet line as they'll get it deep. Sexton holds on to it, tries a wrap-around attempt. Is it in? It is! It is! A power play goal! And very similar to the goal Cooper had yesterday, where he strong-armed it himself through pretty much the entire defensive team. He's able to bury a wraparounder, just tuck it just inside to make this a 6-2 hockey game. We'll go downstairs to see if any assists are given out. And Noah Carver is going to get the assist on the goal. And so Noah Carver picks up his first point of the weekend. A junior goaltender. As this one works its way out to center ice, nearly intercepted by Luke Harris, who we heard from during the intermission. A very positive and uplifting message from the young man. As a delayed penalty coming, it's going to go against Mason. And a very late hit behind the play will put Aiden Albers into the penalty box. As that hit back into the corner, will put the Trojans back on the power play. 11:51 to go here in the third period. Faceoff is going to come back inside the Mason zone, and Gavin Burris will step into the dot to take the draw for the Trojans. As we wait for the clock to be added, it's got 2 minutes up on the board. I'm thinking maybe, indeed it is. And roughing is the call on Albers as the Trojans step across onside. Delayed penalty again as Carver comes out. Rebound. Empty net the other way. And finally we get the call as the Comets are going to double up in the penalty box. It looks like it's Owen Natorp headed to the box. Another way behind the play obstruction penalty. And so the Trojans now have the first two-man advantage. Again, brought to you by Comprehensive Dentistry of Troy. Kneeing is the penalty against Natorp, as they'll send that one right back to the point. Works it now for Sexton. Give and go. That one's picked up by Dawes. And shorthanded on the breakaway. He'll get tangled up from behind the play. And the Comets wanted a penalty for that one. They're not going to get it. A shot right on. Turned aside, right back to Sexton in front of his own bench. Sends it rink wide. One touch pass now for Lombardo. Walks in, picks the corner, but that one's saved by Atkins. He'll work it back to the point. Give and go, right back to Francis Nutt on the power play. There's Smith, shoots and scores! Top shelf! A power play goal and a beauty! Brady Smith rings the iron. That puck had some eyeballs to see its way all the way in and pop down. A beautiful goal with 10:39 to go, making this a 7-2 hockey game. Francis Nutt is going to get credit for an assist, as is Cooper Sexton. As the Trojans will work it up ice. Intercepted by Albers. Freed from the penalty box. He takes a hard hit into the far corner as play continues out from behind the net. Trojans certainly taking every opportunity to finish their checks on this play. As Albers out to center ice, dumps it just inside the Trojans' end. There's Will Barnes. Had a goal yesterday in the win against Clay. A 4-2 victory as the Trojans looking for the trifecta of the weekend. 3 wins in as many games, but here's Albers. Sets up into the far corner, throws on the brakes on the half board, sends it back to the point. At the point is Rodway. And a delayed penalty coming, and I believe it's going to go against the Trojans. It looks like an interference call against Will Barnes, and that stops the clock with 9 minutes and 35 seconds to go. And indeed it is. We're down to 4-on-4 hockey for 2 seconds. And then that initial penalty for kneeing to Natorp will come off the board, and the Comets will have an abbreviated power play. And indeed they do. Comets on the power play now. They hold it in at their own line. Controlled on the half boards. They'll get it deep, down low into the corner. Played around the Dashers. This one will come out. With Francis Nutt giving chase on the other side. With the loose puck on the side of the cage. Is it trapped up? No, it's not, but Smith picks it up and sends it back to Conde at the point. There's a shot. Conde, rebound kicked out, but knocked away. And the Comets now clear that one up to open ice. Onside as Pratcher had it. Stripped away by Conti as he'll post up from behind his net and wrap it around now to Smith, who wisely fires it 180 feet the other way and gives chase. Wholesale changes for the Comets. They'll work it down low. Here's Brady Smith with the puck. Sends it back to the point. Conti tried to get Campbell. Low shot as Francis not trying to get the one-timer. The rebound wide of the net, and that one's raced for by Campbell, who keeps it in at the line. Right backing up the wall. Held on by Conti. Andrew Conti can't control. Campbell back out at center. Is that one in on net? Trojans will tag up and continue to pressure. 30 seconds remaining on the Comets power play. As Nicky Dodds for the Comets rode off into the corner. Digging for it is Francis Knott. Conti picks it up. Now he skates with it out. One-touch pass ahead for Lombardo. Couldn't get it across the line. And so Campbell steps it across the red stripe in front of the benches. Still battling for it. Lombardo back to help out, and he picks it up. Here's Cam Lombardo. In front of the benches, Will Barnes, fresh from the penalty box, is able to force that one deep in, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Owen Nator for the Comets, able to fire that one deep inside the Trojans' end. As they'll work it at the point and held in. There's a shot from Karnas. Forcing again on the half boards. 7:03 to go here in this third period. Trojans 3 wide now, streaking out through center. Here's Lombardo, give and go, right back on the centering feed. He tried to feed Wenning, but it just was not to be, and this one's going to clear all the way down inside the Trojans' end. 6:44 to go. Trojans holding on to that 7-2 lead. Across the line, offsides is what they're going to say, and that's enough to stop time with 6:36 to go here in this third period. Of course, the Trojans looking for the win against Mason for the third time this season. The second time these two clubs have played each other here at Hobart Arena. Trojans have won both of those meetings here at Hobart. And with a win this afternoon against Mason, the Trojans will secure first place in the Miami Valley Freeze Invitational and bring back some hardware to the halls of Troy High School. Offsides waved off as the Trojans tag up at the line. Pressuring it down low. Here's Carson Smith centering feed. Francis, not a drive, and stopped by Atkins. He had to do a double take behind him to make sure he did in fact have it. Sometimes with the equipment they wear, they can't even feel it. So it was one of those let's double check behind us moments for the goaltender, who has played very well between the pipes for the Comets today. There's a lot of hockey to play, especially for a goaltender. And facing quite a few shots, 28 shots the Trojans have posted in this hockey game alone. Berghardt at the line. Under a little bit of duress, coughs that one up, and now here come the Comets 3 wide across the Trojans line, and a shot. Blocker pad save made by Carver. Is that one back on the half boards, left wing side. Scooped up by the cannon. Jack Crawford lays it from behind his own net with 5:31 to go. Back at the point, but not out. And a shot rings back into the far wing corner. Crawford back to get it on this breakout attempt. Sends it out to Harris. And across the Comets line, here's Luke Harris, a drive, rebound! As Barnes was following up, nearly got a piece of it, but they'll throw it back to the point. Held on by Berghardt. Harris losing the puck in his feet. Gabby Paff goes back to give assistance. Into the trapezoid. That one off the backhand breakout attempt by the Comets and pumped right back in by Berghardt. Trojans finish their line change and continue to pressure. Here's Francis Knott. Back into the corner. Centering feed, a bit too rich for Wenning. And so the Comets able to force that one ahead to center and finish a line change of their own as Gavin Burrs picks it up at the red stripe for the Trojans. Getting poked off the puck. Gives it right back to Lombardo, posting up now for Berghart at the tail end of a very long shift for that defensive pair. They'll get that one deep inside the Comet zone. 4:23 to go. Up the wall. Back for Berghart. Still trapping it up against the Dashers. This one's going to be picked off by Rodway, and now he skates with it for the Comets. Rode back into the corner, now by Campbell. They'll battle for it down low as Dawes comes back to help, trips up his man, no call. Rodway keeps it in at the line. Scooped up by Wenning, offsides, but play continues as the Comets will tag up the line. 3:49 to go. Trojans firmly in the lead of this one as a long stretch pad ahead to Wenning, a drive. And Adkins makes the save. And that stops the clock now with 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go here in the second period. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in all weekend long right here on Troy, Ohio TV. All of our games this weekend that we have broadcast will be available on demand starting on Monday at troyohio.tv, or if you're old-fashioned like my father, troyohiotv.com. Sometimes you just have to have the .com behind it, as there's a shot right on. Played and held onto by Adkins. And you'll be able to access all of the games that we have aired all season long. As we're glad to be able to provide this as a service to our community. There's a drive, loose puck through the paint. Wasn't to be, though, as they'll force it back out from behind the net. And a big hit on Smith. Knocks the puck loose as play comes out. Condi giving chase inside his own zone. 2 men on. There's the shot. Turned aside by Carver. Loose puck down low into the corner. Plays it up the near wing. There's a shot. Glove down. And Carver has it, as he watched it the whole way with 2 minutes and 59 seconds to go here in this third period. Head coach Rick Dabble putting on a fresh line combination for this faceoff inside their own zone. Trojans putting up 31 shots on goal through this junction in the hockey game with just under 3 minutes to go. As the faceoff controlled out to neutral ice. Trojans stretching across the line, and a big hit there against the Dashers. As the Trojans continue pressuring out from behind the net. Back ahead for Smith. Couldn't control at the line, held on. As they'll tangle up. Wenning had his stick held, and play continues as he lost a mitt in the process. Back to play it is Carver. They'll leave it off for Sexton. Up the wall. And finally cleared as Nate Torp will play it for the Comets. 2 minutes and 14 seconds to go. As there's a shot from Wenning, who got a couple lasting shots on his way to the bench. As the Comets stretch pass out to neutral ice. Forced to head out of the corner for Sexton. He'll hold on to it again. He scored 1 goal already like that, as he'll do battle into the corner. Sticks go flying and a delayed penalty coming. Shoots and picks the corner and scores! Cooper Sexton roofs it past Grayson Adkins. And that'll post up the second octopus of the weekend for the Trojans. The 8th goal. As the officials converse, looks like a penalty on the play, in fact, is being called. as a cross-checking minor. And apparently a 10-minute misconduct as well against Owen Natorp, who is sitting in the box for the Comets right there. You see him on your screen at the bottom. He got a 2-minute minor for cross-check and then was assessed a 10-minute misconduct. And so the face-off at center ice will be taken by Ian Francis Knott. And scooped up by the Comets out through center ice. Lombardo gets a helper on the goal, as Crawford fires that one just wide. As they'll work it back on the far side. Big open ice check, gets the crowd involved in front of the benches as Crawford puts his man into the Dashers. They'll force that one around. Here's Dawes, gets tripped up, delayed penalty coming. And that'll negate the power play for the Trojans, as that's about as obvious a penalty as we're going to get in this hockey game. And a tripping call against Colin Berghardt will even things up at 4-on-4 with the face-off inside the Trojans' end. And so head coach Rick Szabo putting the line combination of Lombardo, Burris, Sexton, and Crawford out. And right off the draw, this one right back to Gavin Burris. 4-on-4 hockey for the rest of the hockey game, presumably, as we are at 1 minute to go in regulation. Trojans holding on to an 8-2 lead and all but certain to win this hockey game, but more importantly, win the championship of the Miami Valley Freeze tournament. As they'll turn that one around. Bouncing puck into the corner. 35 seconds and counting, and a big high hit. And now players come together. It was a very, very high hit. A head hit. And it was Pitcher that contacted the head of Cameron Lombardo with the elbow. Lombardo reacted how you might expect someone to when they've just been elbowed in the face. And so Pitcher only gets a roughing penalty. I'm not sure the referee saw the initial call. The initial hit was an elbow to the face of Cameron Lombardo. We saw it clear as day from up here in the press box. I'm not sure the referee Ernie DiMuccio had the right angle to see that hit as it was behind the net. But that's what started the whole thing, and nothing to do about it as it doesn't affect the on-ice strength, as it's still 4-on-4. Forcing it back in, 19 seconds and counting. Trojans looking to get away with one here, as this one meanders all the way down. No icing called. Harris giving chase. 2 seconds to go. And that's it. Your final score. The Trojans 8, Mason Comets 2, and that is it for the weekend sweep. The Trojans 3 up, 3 down, and they will win the Miami Valley Freeze Championship for the first time in program history. As you see the congratulatory handshake downstairs. Momentarily, we'll go downstairs to Brian Sexton for the official trophy presentation. And then we'll go downstairs here. as the Trojans adding yet another piece of hardware.
Runner-up for the Miami Valley Face Tournament was Clay.
Clay is the runner-up, and the Trojans being presented the championship trophy as head coach Rick Szabo will help that happen. As Brian Sexton, the booster president of the Troy High School Hockey Boosters Association, will present the trophy to team captain Cameron Lombardo and congratulate as they will hear the cheers of the crowd here at Hobart Arena and lift that one high above the ice surface as team photographer Katie Sexton will take the picture there as we see the goaltenders get in there. A big win for the program, if nothing else. The first Miami Valley Freeze post-COVID. The last time this tournament was run was 2019, as the team gets their photo taken right there as champions of the 2022 Miami Valley Freeze. And an excellent tournament all around. We'd like to thank all of the other teams for making this tournament a success, especially the Mason Comets, the Clay Eagles, who picked up second place in the tournament. As the crowd gives them a celebratory congratulation. It has been an excellent weekend of hockey here in Troy, Ohio. And we thank you for being a part of it here on Troy, Ohio TV. At the conclusion of the weekend, the Trojans pick up the championship of the Miami Valley Freeze. And so thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of this, for our entire TV crew. Lily, Riley, John Wyatt, Rhino, and everybody else involved in the production of this tournament and our telecast right here on Troy, Ohio TV. I am JT Szabo. We'll be back in action when the Trojans return home after the holidays. Until then, have a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a great Kwanzaa, and we'll see you on the other side. Trojans win 8-2.